What's up again, guys? Brian here at 3TR, and I got my final top videos list for you guys. And this time I'll be sharing with you my top 5 favorite badass lists. Now this list was initially longer, but despite my best efforts, all of my attempts ended up making the video very long. So to shorten it down, I decided to just do about half the list. And starting off somewhat strong with my number 5, I decided to pick ComaGraph from the Infamous series. Now ComaGraph to me is a badass simply because the player has direct influence for which direction or path he will go. It's not just the fact that, he's a giant battery who can absorb electricity and fire it away, or incinerate people, or summon giant tornadoes which cause total massive waves of mayhem and destruction. But it's that player control that really makes him vastly uniquer than all the other characters on my list. They really have their morals and motivations and really their attitudes set in stone, but ComaGraph is the only one that you can influence, you can control. And I think it's that sense of control that makes him stand apart, which is why he is number 5 on my list. Now going for a much more solid character with my number 4, we have Albert Wesker. Albert Wesker has really been kind of the puppet master for, I would say, the majority of the Resident Evil franchise, even going so far as into 6, even though he's been dead for a couple years in that game. Just by the look of him, he carries that whole Matrix look with the whole black coat, black suit, black sunglasses, and just an overwhelming sense of confidence. I wouldn't necessarily say he's a cocky character, but he can sometimes go a bit overboard and think that nothing is going to stop him. But as we all saw in Resident Evil 5, that kind of backfired on him. And I think it's just his ability to always have total control of events. And that's really something not many, I would say, villains have been able to do. They kind of make things up as they go along, or maybe they make pre-made plans and they go to shit. But Wesker has always been in total control. Even if you never actually see him, you know he has a direct influence on everything that is going wrong with a particular situation. Now going on to my number 3, we have Scorpion from the Mortal Kombat franchise. Scorpion has always been my favorite fighter in the Mortal Kombat series ever since, say, Mortal Kombat 1 when I was about 5 years old. And with every single installment in the Mortal Kombat franchise, his character is always been rather consistent. He's not really a bad guy or a good guy, but he's a neutral character, and he does really whatever the heck he wants. Despite the fact that he has a really, really fierce rivalry with Sub-Zero in the Lin Kuei clan. He's the poster boy for the Mortal Kombat franchise. He has the most iconic line in the series, the whole "get over here" line, and I think that has really held over this last, say, 15 years. And for those of you who don't already know, he's been actually added, and is the only Mortal Kombat character that we know of who's going to be added to the infamous Gods Among Us fighting roster. And his whole new look design actually makes him look like he could play some type of anti-hero. So just that alone, just his influence, just his popularity makes him a badass character. Going on to my number 2, I have Big Boss from the Metal Gear Solid franchise. I would say that Big Boss is much more of a badass than Solid Snake, simply because he's gone through more. I would say between the two characters he has more depth, because every new installment of the Metal Gear Solid franchise, he's had to adapt or gain some type of new, how do I say, learning skills. He's had to apply something else to help move him forward or get through the current situation. He did stop World War III from happening, and he did kill the boss, and since then he's really just been a soldier on just a spiraled path of total destruction. And I really can't wait to see how, well, we already know how the story's going to end, but I can't wait to see exactly how he gets to the Outer Haven situation by the end of Phantom Pain, which comes out sometime next year. And, he's the boss. He has the title of the greatest soldier that ever lived. And that's a badass title, in my opinion. Now, number 1 on my list, as I'm sure many of you could already guess, me being a PlayStation gamer, there's only one man, one god, who can claim the title of Ultimate Badass in video games. Not just on my list, but should be on everybody's list, and that is Kratos, the God of War. What can you say everything you could say about this guy is a badass. Number one, he's a Spartan, which means he was trained by the age of 7 to do nothing but kill. He took down Ares, he took down Olympus, killed practically all the Greek gods, had sex with so many women, had plenty of orgies, even made the goddess of love. Well, I won't go too deep into that. But it's just, you know, what can you say? He is the god of war. He is the ultimate badass. He will kill enemies in ways that are so inventive. And he's a lot smarter than the typical Spartan. And he's the last of them. I'm having trouble coming up with coherent thoughts because everything about Kratos is just over the top badass. I'm having trouble bringing it up into words. So with that is where my list ends. That's who my number 1 is. And I'd like to know, what are some of your guys' favorite video game badasses? Feel free to comment them in the comments down below. And if you like this video, please like, comment down below, and subscribe to check me in my future videos. And like always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.